Hey everyone, this is how you complete the Oscar Guzman Flies Again missions in under 50 minutes. If you are here because you want to complete the tier 4 challenge for the career progress, then you are able to play this on normal. Having said this, in order to complete this time, you should be using HSW enabled vehicles. The top recommended picks here are the Hikuchi Drag, Benji GTS, Niobe and the Monstrosity, with the absolute top pick out of all of them being the Hikuchi Drag. But I do realize that this is a bike that can require a bit of skill to handle, as it handles a bit like a boat and you can fall off it pretty easily. Being rather used to it myself, I will be using it throughout the guide, as I do find it extremely good to use during this challenge because of how easy you can off and on it, as well as just overall how great of a bike it really is. For the tier 4 challenge, the time is counted on a per mission basis. So if you are in the middle of a mission and you fail or you die or just simply take way too much time, you are able to just simply quit the mission and try again, as the time will only be finally counted once you complete the mission. I do have to say that the time frame of under an hour for the tier 4 challenge is way more generous than the Cluckenbell farm raid. I personally managed to get everything done in about 47 minutes, with also some room for improvement along the way. With that out of the way, let's get into the very first mission up and running. This guide is very much going to be under the assumption that you have a basic knowledge of the missions before. If you don't have a basic knowledge of these missions yet, then make sure to check out the main guide for this in the link in the description down below or in the pinned comment. As you can already tell by now, we are making our way up to the hill by going to the ramp and using an RPG to shoot down the transmission tower instead of using sticky bombs. Now, instead of spending time trying to lead our shots to the plane and everything, we're instead going to wait until the plane is barely moving. Once that is happening, just keep shooting the plane until all the cargo has been dropped, and then slowly but surely make your way down the mountain with your Hikuchi Drag or any vehicle. If you're using a car, then obviously you can just yeet yourself off the mountain and you're gonna be more than fine. If you're using a bike, however, do be a bit more careful. There is also an alternative way of speeding up this process a little bit more by just throwing yourself off the mountain. You will die if you do this, so if you're playing on hard difficulty, definitely avoid doing that. Having said that, as soon as you get close enough to the packages and pick them all up, you can then make your way to the buyer and you should be good to go. For the Mogul setup, we'll be utilizing an HSW vehicle to make our way to the Banham Canyon. If you're watching this because you're trying to optimize your run on last generation platforms, then utilizing the Venom could be a viable strategy. The Venom could also be a viable strategy if you don't really trust your driving skills too much. It will take you about a minute or so longer, but it is perhaps a little bit safer. Having said that, if you're following the route that I'm showing you on screen now with the HSW vehicle, you should be getting there in about a minute and a half to 2 minutes, which is significantly quicker than utilizing the Vellum and then jumping out with a parachute instead. Once you arrive at the airstrip, take out this singular enemy, get into the Mogul, and then fly back to the McKenzie Airfield Hangar. Once you're there, just simply go around in a tiny little circle to make sure that Oscar can take out the targets, and once you notice the last one being in the white circle, then make your way out of the circle while Oscar is taking down the very last jet that's chasing you. Doing so will save you a couple of seconds, so you can make your way to the first base right away. For bombing the bases, you want to make sure that you're flying low and utilizing carpet bombing in order to make taking down the targets very easy and smoothly. To make your life even easier, I'll give you some indications of roughly whereabouts you should start dropping the bombs when going for the bases. For the intel setup, you first want to make your way to a clothing store and purchase yourself a scuba suit, allowing you to skip a part of the mission, which will save you a bunch of time. For the mission itself, first you want to be making your way to the drone station as quick as you possibly can by following the route that I'm showing you on screen. Make sure to position your bike in such a way that you can immediately get on it and fly off again whenever you are done with the drone section. The drone section is very much going to require you to never ever have the drone be destroyed. Utilize the boost as much as you can, but don't try to be too greedy with it, as you will bump into things and destroy the drone. When you encounter enemies, make sure to use the shock weapon of the drone to take down enemies stealthily. If you do get spotted, don't worry too much, make sure to take out enemies with the machine gun instead to make sure that you don't run into any people trying to destroy your drone. As for the rest of the route, well, that's just a simple matter of me showing you the footage, so keep an eye on that, and as soon as you're done with the drone, you can then move on to the next part of the mission, which will require you to make your way to the lighthouse. Once you're at the lighthouse, because you already have the scuba suit, you can literally just yeet yourself into the ocean and then make your way to one of the boats on the platforms. Once in the boat, you then want to make your way to the middle of the circle where you have to go straight down. If you're worried about sharks, don't be too worried about them. Generally speaking, they don't grab you, but if they do, you will simply not die from them. Go straight down, and once you're about halfway, start making your way towards the north side. There you can start looking for the cargo, as most, if not all of the cargo, is going to be on the lower end of the ocean. Keep an eye out for any of the cargo indicated by red lights and also a green arrow hovering above them, and follow the route that I'm taking on screen for the most effective way of trying to find the cargo, while keeping an eye on your minimap for any green dots popping up on your radar. Sadly, because there's a total of 8 different locations, it is kind of impossible for me to show you where exactly there are going to be. The best I can do for you is give you an indication of where roughly they're going to be by showing you the map that I'm showing you now. Unfortunately, the only thing that I can tell you to make it easier to find this stuff is by looking for either debris or any sort of broken ship parts or any open containers, like you are probably already seeing in the footage. Once you have acquired all the cargo, you then want to start making your way back to land. However, there will be some boats spawning in, and it would be advisable to try to see if you can grab one of them instead of having to swim all the way back. If you are like me, where you accidentally mistimed it and you didn't actually get in front of the boat, going underwater actually allows you to be fast enough to catch up with them, then jump on the boat and then steal it. This will save you a good amount of time, so it's definitely worth doing. Then make your way to the shore again and spawn in your vehicle so you can utilize it to then make your way back to the McKenzie Field Hangar. The Iron Mule setup will really come down to whether or not you have a skill issue when it comes to combat, and also how good you are at avoiding deer while riding on your bicycle. As soon as you make your way to the testing site, then start planting jammers as quick as you possibly can. Try not to spend too much time doing any sort of enemy killing, as it's completely a waste of time and they'll keep on spawning anyways. Instead, make sure that you bring enough snacks and armor to avoid any and all combat that will be necessary. However, when you make your way to the third jammer, make sure to keep an eye out for the insert and pickup custom that will try to start beaming you down. Spend a bit of time taking a little bit of cover like I'm doing in the footage, and then make your way to the third jammer after taking out a bunch of enemies. Not taking out the enemies here is probably going to get you killed, so do keep that in mind. Once the enemies are cleared up, you can make your way to the fourth jammer, and then it is time for probably the most time-consuming part of this mission, which is destroying the assets. The helicopters are going to give you the most amount of progress in this. However, they do seem to spawn in about every 20 to 30 seconds or so, so make sure that during this time that you kill enough enemies and destroy enough enemy vehicles vehicles in order to keep that meter going up, because if you don't spend any time destroying stuff, the meter will go down. The Insurgent Pickup Custom and destroying that will also give you a bump in progress. However, it will take you quite a few rockets in order to take it down, so whether that's worth it or not is going to be entirely up to you. It is worth it though to keep moving about and try to find new enemies as they're spawning in, and make sure to utilize potentially an explosive shotgun as well as an explosive sniper to take down any vehicles that might come towards you. Once the meter has been filled, you can then make your way to one of the landing locations of the Iron Mule and then wait until you can trigger the jammers. Once you've done that, wait for it to calm down, to kill the enemies that come out of it, and then make your way inside of the Iron Mule to deactivate the jammers again. Then you have to get back into the Iron Mule a second time and then fly off back to the McKenzie Hangar. In the final mission, Ammunition, you unfortunately have to sit through about 2 minutes of not being able to do anything. Until you reach this point here, you can then parachute out of the Vellum and then make your way to the Iron Mule. From there, you just simply want to go to the cargo ship, pick up the package, and then fly off again. That is really the entire mission. You can make your life a little bit easier by utilizing the grappling hook camera by pressing B on your Xbox controller, circle on your PlayStation controller, or the button on PC that I forgot, which I assume is R. Professionalism. In the finale, as a solo player, there's sadly not a whole lot that you can do in order to save time, given the fact that you're going to be stuck with Oscar flying you around and you just having to focus on destroying the Titan 250D. You're just kind of stuck there for about 5 minutes doing nothing but pumping bullets into the Titan. Having said that, you should do exactly that. Just focus on damaging the Titan and don't worry about taking any damage, as Oscar's Mogul, it will be able to take quite a bit of damage. This section probably shouldn't be taking you more than 5 to 5.5 minutes, so do keep it in mind, as it is probably worth it to save as much time as you possibly can during this section. Once it's time to jump out of the plane, make sure to land and immediately take down the helicopters with the homing launcher that we picked up at the start of the mission. Then you want to take out all the enemies as quickly as you can and sprint towards the Titan to start the repairing minigame. The minigame itself isn't too bad, but the faster you are with this, the quicker you're going to be obviously done with repairing. As soon as you're done repairing, just simply wait until Oscar drops off the ammunition and then get to loading the ammunition itself. Like with repairing the engine, you simply want to keep loading the ammunition until you get shot just a little bit too much to snack up and armor up again, and then continue where you left off. Once you're done with loading the ammunition, immediately get into the Titan and take off. Now this is the part where a second player with you will make life so much easier. However, since we're focused on the solo aspect of things, allow me to show you how you should be lining up your Titan in order to make sure that your shots are going to be hitting. For the first target, you want to be aiming for this dirt road over here. Once you're done that successfully, enter the cannons and then start firing on the 2 targets. Once those are down, you can then move on to the submarine. The submarine will require a total of 6 shots to take down, and as a solo player, you only will have 5 shots to fire at it. So you're going to need to either be close enough to the submarine for your 6th shot after reloading, or you have to do another round. Either way are fine, as you're in the middle of the ocean and will have plenty of space to turn your Titan around. When the submarine is down, make sure to reload your gun so you're ready to take out the last target, which is the train. For the train, once again, you want to make sure that your gun is reloaded and ready to fire, and take out the first carriage first, so that way the train will stop and you can more easily take out the rest of the carriages. The main thing that you want to be looking out for here is obviously the windmill farm, as well as the different kind of electricity masts that are around the area. Make sure that you're not too low so you're hitting any of the obstacles, but not too high so that your shots are still going to count. If you look at the footage, you'll probably get a pretty decent idea of what to do here. And after that is just straight to McKenzie Airfield to finish the finale. And with that said, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.